what? Screw the intro for a change. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. The date today is the 7th of May, 2010. It is 8 p.m. British Standard Time. It is 9 p.m. Central European Summertime. It is indeed, one would imagine, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'll just throw in the intro out. There you go. Thrown out for this particular episode. Can't be bothered with it. What's the point in wasting the time? Well, that's a good question, because what the hell am I going to talk about today? Perhaps I should play the intro, let's see, how many would that fit? Normally a 90-minute show, only about 85 times. There we go, just do that on loop, and that will most likely provide more content than I'm going to be able to put out today. You know how bored I'm getting with the game, folks, and I was so excited to see the alpha kicking off, and what happened? What happened, but what do we get? A bunch of frickin' screenshots and some basic information about professions, which reveals absolutely nothing new. Whoop-a-dee-doo-dah frickin' day, ladies and gentlemen. Why bother? I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why MMO Champion would basically release very little other than screenshots. I mean, for one thing, you might not be able to release anything else. And maybe the stuff's not in there, maybe it's not complete yet. But I'm sorry, screenshots are the least enthusing thing to me. There is nothing, absolutely nothing in there that excites me in any respect. I look at anything. Let me just pick a random screenshot right here. You know, screw the rest of the show. Let me just pick a random screenshot. I'm just going to close my eyes, I'm going to scroll around randomly on MMO Champion and click. There we go. Let's load up the screenshot. Oh, it's terrain. Woo! Terrain! Dark Whisper Gorge. Okay, Dark Whisper Gorge is now slightly different and has banners and towers and stuff. Big deal. Massive, huge, colossal care face by that. I don't care about the terrain changes. It might sound bizarre, considering that this is Cataclysm we're talking about right here, which is big on the terrain changes, but you know what I want to hear about? I want to hear about how good the content's going to be. I want to hear about the raid content. I want to hear what they're going to be doing to vary up the questing, the leveling. What about these mastery things? What about the Path of the Titans? What about the guild leveling? How's all that going to mesh together? How's that going to happen? But what do we get? A bunch of pretty pictures. Whoop-a-dee-doo! Oh, celebrate! Dance on the rooftops! It's a bunch of pretty bloody pictures. Oh. What have I got coming in for you in the show today? Nothing. Literally. I got nothing. This is all we get. A bunch of pretty pictures. How am I even supposed to speculate on this? I mean, what am I going to say? Okay, cool, there is a zone here. There might now be lava in places where there was not otherwise lava. Aren't the water effects lovely? Well, yes, they are, but it's not worthy of discussion, is it? At all. Which of these screenshots has anything remotely game-changing in it? At all. None of them. None whatsoever. Yes, the sky wall is very, very nice. Oh, look, there are pictures of instances. Okay, but there are no boss images there at all. That looks like a pyramid from Stargate. Go figure. Just rooms of stuff with nothing in them. Empty. Empty nonsense. So, who cares? At the end of the day. There is nothing of substance to be taken from any of that information. It is useless. Utterly, completely, totally, bloody useless. Which is why I'm not going to discuss it, because hey, what the hell is the point? Well, ladies and gents, I have not played WoW in the past week. I have migrated now to Anchorage with the remnants of my guild. Many of them have quit because they are so bored of World of Warcraft. We should have enough to keep raiding. We'll hopefully be restarting that on Saturday. If there are any errant guildies who have somehow wandered off, got lost in the meantime, get over to Anchorage. Get yourself sorted out, we can get raiding again, but the question is, does anybody want to? Not really. I talk to every one of my guildies and ask them, you seem a little down. And they answer, yeah. And I ask again, why? Why are you down, Mr. Guildie? What's your problem? And the answer is always the same. I'm bored stiff. Now, I suppose it's irresponsible for me to complain about that kind of thing. Because, hey, all that does is depress the rest of you. I'm sorry. I tell it how it is, and I am unerringly honest about my opinion. And some people really hate that. I'm fine with them hating it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely fine with it. Not a problem. But how am I supposed to get enthused about something when there's just nothing to enjoy? Wrath is an unmitigated, complete and total disaster area. It's as simple as that. Makes the pain go away. So, I'll do the show today, and I will be taking your topics and your questions. So send them in via Twitter. That's Total Biscuit on Twitter. Send them in via IRC, irc.quakenet.org, #CynicalBrit. You can also send them in via the use of the mystical chat room. Click chat at the bottom of the screen on cynicalbrit.com, or email me, themurloc@cynicalbrit.com. Any of those. I'll take questions, I'll do topics that you want me to do, as much as possible. I can't guarantee the length of this show. A lot of people have been asking whether or not the show will go on hiatus. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes either. Over the next couple of weeks, we should get a whole bunch of really good information, hopefully exciting stuff, other than screenshots, something tangible, something I can get my teeth into. And of course, every change that is announced, everything that becomes public is going to be the subject of debate. It's going to be the subject of drama. It's going to be the subject of shouting, crying, screaming, and bawling all over the forums. And that'll be fun. That I can get my teeth into. And hey, when the beta comes out, I can get my teeth into that too. However, for the meantime, we're stuck with what we've got here, which, as I said before, is so very, very little. Nothing worthwhile. Nothing to discuss. So yeah, get your questions in. In the meantime, I suppose I do have a few things I could do, so it's time for this.
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks. It is mail time. Time for the mail. For the mail, for the mail, for the mail. There is some mail, so I suppose I can read it. So let's kick it off, shall we? This is a good one. This one comes from Jerry H, and he has several things to say on the subject of heroics. So let's have a look and see what he has to say. TTB, my fondest memory was WoW... No, let's try it again. TTB, my fondest moment in WoW was a heroic Sethic Halls fighting Ikis. The 3 DPS died to the arcane explosion, and the tank and I had to work him down with almost full health without me running out of mana with the tank trying to prevent damage. We did it, and it was epic. Now, 2 years later, I was running normal Sethic on my 67 warrior tank, and another epic Ikis moment happened. Through the whole run, the mage in the group was telling me to pull faster. We'll just AoE everything and saying things like slow tank is bad. I was pulling one pack at a time, and I was marking the mind control and the fear bomb mobs because I know they can cause a wipe. We engage Ikis, and the healer gets polymorphed just before the first arcane explosion and died, along with 2 of the DPS, leaving me and the mage. I start blowing cooldowns, and thanks to 450 engineering, heavy frostweave, and the mage DPSing his heart out, we kill Ikis. I then told the mage, in PC, you can do everything right, the healer can still get sheeped, and you can wipe. He said, I see that. I asked him then, a year from now, will you remember the 9,001 times you killed Loken or this fight with Ikis? Interesting. TB, it was at that moment I realized that when you put people in a bad situation, sometimes a hero emerges. I want bad situations to happen in Cataclysm. Even if it means I die a lot. Because I would trade 1,000 deaths to be the hero just once. Isn't that a good point? It is really, isn't it? Well, there's a few things. Firstly, I don't necessarily approve of 2 guys just DPSing for 10 minutes to kill a boss. I know it's a bit epic, but I'm sorry, you've also got the rest of the group to consider. But that's a minor technicality. I understand where you're coming from and why this is a good thing to you. So, Ikis, yes, can cause random wipes. Are random wipes a good thing? Not necessarily. However, do you need gimmick mechanics to cause wipes? No. No, you do not. All you need are hard fights. There were plenty of hard fights in TBC in the heroics that were good. They were fine. They were fun, and they were difficult. And did they have gimmick mechanics? Were they Blackheart the Inciter battles? No, they weren't. Not necessarily. Yes, cool, Blackheart the Inciter is neat. Yeah, we get the idea. We loved Blackheart the Inciter. It was a good gimmick fight. It is not the solution. The solution is to make hard, properly tuned content. That's how you fix everything. And what, of course, you then have to do is, if you want to keep people playing 5-mans, then you have to get yourself into a situation where you think, perhaps we need to up the difficulty as things goes along and not reduce it. Because if we reduce it, then it becomes a AoE grindfest just like Wrath of the Lich King. And that sucks. It is. It's bloody awful. Nobody wants that nonsense. But yeah, I understand what you mean. The epic moments. The challenging moments. They're important. No doubt about it. Right, ladies and gents. Let's go and have a look at something else. This is a big article. I don't want to cover this. I might cover this in the next 15 minutes. It seems like a bit of repetition, but this article is absolutely fantastic. So, in the meantime, dear host of shows.
You dare look upon the host of souls! I shall devour you all!
Yes, quite. I am writing to ask a question about Emblems of Frost. I have yet to raid ICC due to being kinda casual, and since I do not feel like I deserve ICC equivalent gear, I have yet to buy any EOF gear. All the EOF I have gotten has been spent on Primordial Saronite, which I've been selling for a lot of money, 2k gold a piece. How the hell do you still get 2k gold a piece? Man, I just made 1,000 gold, by the way. I transferred over from Masrigo to Anchorage, and I sold Primordial Saronite, and I made about 300 gold each a pop, which was good. I bought the Saronite for 600, sold it for 900. Cool, right? How do you get 2k? Good lord! That's crazy to talk at this point in time. I want to move to that server. Anyway, but recently I've noticed that a lot of guildies of my friends are now starting to outgear me. I'm worried I'm hurting myself for not using Emblems of Frost gear. I've almost used some of my EOF gear on a few occasions, but every time I did not like thinking that I didn't deserve it. So should I use EOF for gear, or take the high ground and prove to be above the entitled scrubs who populate the game? Well, I ask you this. Why do you need EOF gear if you haven't set foot in ICC? There's a question for you. That's the thing. The tuning, ladies and gentlemen, of ICC is designed around the idea, at least later on, that you have some tier 10. If you're not doing tier 10 content, then why buy tier 10 gear? I mean, there's no cap, just keep saving these bloody things. You might as well. By the time you actually get into ICC, you'll have enough to buy several tier pieces off the bat. And if you've got a problem with thinking that you don't deserve them, then go beat some content in ICC. Simple as that. Go get in a guild, go do some content in ICC, and then you can feel morally justified in using that gear. It's difficult, really, to say that you shouldn't use the gear, because at the end of the day, you still earn the Emblems of Frost. It doesn't matter if Blizzard's doing it wrong. Blizzard says you have deserved to acquire that gear. So, stopping yourself from taking it might seem admirable, but it does seem like a little bit of false morality. And don't get me wrong, it's kind of cool that you are doing that, no doubt about it. It does take some self-control, certainly, and it does take a certain level of standards. And to hold yourself to them all this time, when free gear is being dangled in front of your face, that's pretty impressive. But, again, one has to ask, what point are you trying to prove? And to who? If it's just to yourself, okay, fine, go for it, why not? Proving points to yourself, nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing. If you're proving it to other people, then do you really think they're going to respect you for it? I mean, this is the WoW player base we're talking about here. The WoW player base can't even respect the top guilds in the world without so desperately trying to tear them down. It sucks, but it's true. Getting respect in WoW is incredibly hard. It really is. And to be honest, it ain't worth it. You're getting respect from people that... Why would you care about them? For what reason do you give a damn about the opinion of these people? So yeah, it really is up to you. I couldn't advise you either way. Feel free to stack it up. Feel free to hold on if you so choose. But it's not really benefiting anyone, is it? My name is Total Biscuit. You are listening to Blue Please, or indeed Open Please, today on cynicalbrit.com, taking your questions and topics via email, chat, and Twitter. So go make that happen. In the meantime, I would like to play you some more Dark Tranquility, because I like it. Dream Oblivion coming up right now Enjoy.